As you can see here, Manchester City expected to make opening offer for Arsenal target Declan Rice. This was 5 hours ago by David Ornstein. Man City are expected to make an opening offer for West Ham midfielder Declan Rice on Thursday. Arsenal had a club record proposal worth 90 million in brackets, 75 million pound fee and 15 million in add-ons turned down by their PL rivals earlier this week. But it's believed Arsenal are getting closer to a fee that West Ham are aiming to achieve if their captain is to depart. Now, City have probably blown that out of the water. The Athletic reported earlier this month that the Premier League champion City were also actively exploring an approach of their own for the 24-year-old, which they are now set to follow with an official bid. City are already set to complete a deal for Kovacic from Chelsea imminently, and Barcelona are closing in on Ilkay Gundogan on a free transfer. Now, apparently, Arsenal are Declan Rice's preferred destination. Whatever you read of that, I don't know, because we were Mudriks. Apparently, we can report that City are expected to rival Arsenal's offer for Declan Rice as reported elsewhere. Man United were also expected to do the same, although despite this being reported, we don't believe an official bid has been made yet. Man City have already held talks with the player, as did Munich and Arsenal, and Rice prefers a move to Arsenal. However, as the move drags, the more this is allowing other clubs a chance at sealing the deal. While Man City are aware of Rice's Arsenal preference, they've seen Arsenal's struggles to get a bid accepted and want the chance to speak to the player again, which Rice is prepared to do. He'd be stupid not to. West Ham are reportedly getting fed up with Arsenal, and this has led to both Manchester clubs seeing an opportunity to hijack the deal. As our last hearing, we believe that Man United still haven't submitted a bid yet or even spoke to the player, so it's not known they could offer the player what they could offer the player in terms of personal terms and promises, and as a result, whether the player would be interested in their proposal. While City are aware of Rice's preference to remain in London, if Arsenal cannot agree a deal for the player, he may have to reconsider other options. Again, true. Of course, one of those would be to remain at West Ham another year, but at this stage, that is the least likely. Arsenal's hesitance and low offers have taken away some of the big promises that have been made about how important they saw him to the team. It is felt the club knew roughly where West Ham stood in their financial expectations, and therefore an offer should have been closer to this figure. Arsenal will bid again, and it's in their best interest, if they really do want the player as much as they say they do, to get closer to the approximate fee of 100 million that West Ham require with less installments. This is, of course, is a West Ham take on things, and Arsenal will argue their offers are realistic. But if Manchester, it doesn't say City or United, sorry, offer more what we're expecting, this would therefore cancel that argument from the Gunners. As we reported, City had wanted to offer Calvin Phillips as part of the deal, because obviously if Rice joins them, he will have even less playing time, but the players expressed a reluctance to move, and of course, if he doesn't really want to be over there, he could turn down any move. This article is terribly written. They may try and convince the player again to see his future elsewhere, but at this point, we believe he'll remain in Manchester. So draw into that what you can. Sky Cavals has said, Sky Caval of Sky Sports News has said 2 big offers are expected to be made to West Ham for Declan Rice today. Arsenal have already made 2 bids. Treble winners Man City are interested now. Smash the like button, people. Manchester City 2 bid. Arsenal to bid for a 3rd time. Declan Rice's preference could prove decisive. Really? Don't think it matters. I think it does matter, of course, but West Ham, if you get offered 120 million from City, not that I think they'll go that high, and 100 from Arsenal, what are you going to accept? Manchester City will bid for Declan Rice in push to beat Arsenal to the signing. City believe Rice is willing to join if deal struck with West Ham. Arsenal still confident and planning 3rd offer for midfield. I always tell you, look, be concerned when you see Arsenal confidence. There is confidence. We're ahead of the rivals. He's the player's preference. I hope the man signs, but yeah. City have decided to bid for Rice and will rival Arsenal in pushing to sign the midfielder from West Ham. City have been in contact with West Ham and the players' reps and believe Rice would be willing to join them. Once again, Arsenal are planning to bid a 3rd time, but if it's not near or realistically what West Ham value or as close as you can get to 100 million, it's a myth, really. Arsenal remain confident of winning the race for Rice, for whom there has been no approach from Man United. Arsenal are also working on a deal for Timber of Ajax, and apparently he is keen on the move, and an agreement on personal terms is close. Negotiations between the clubs would follow. So yeah, there you have that. Once again, the same things being said, people. Once again, just talking about City getting involved in this West Ham stuff. So we'll have to see exactly what's being done, people. It's put up or shut up. You know, you can agree personal terms. You can have talks with him and his camp about joining Arsenal. If you don't do the crucial thing of agreeing something with West Ham, it's all air. We've seen this before and we'll see it again. Man City currently want to offer 75 million in 2 installments plus 15 million in add-ons for Rice, which is similar to what Arsenal structured, but because City are more likely to win stuff, it's probably more achievable, really. Simple as that. Sources have told ESPN that Arsenal are confident that Rice wanted to move to the Emirates Stadium, but City will test that confidence, especially given they can tempt West Ham with a player plus cash deal. Calvin Phillips would need to be convinced. If Rice decides to join City, Phillips would be behind both him and Rodri in the pecking order. And yeah, we're repeating the same things at this point. Sam Dean of The Telegraph said, everything I understand at this moment is that it's likely to happen. My fear from an Arsenal perspective is the longer it goes on without an agreement, the greater the chance of somebody else. Manchester City, for example, Manchester United, or whoever coming in to try and flex muscle in the situation. If you were to ask me, are you confident they'll get him? I would say at this point, yes, I am. I mean, all these guys can have their opinions. It all depends what the clubs are officially doing. From what Romano said on the Declan Rice deal, it's entering into crucial days. Arsenal want to be fast to avoid surprises. No bid to be discussed. New bid, to be discussed after 80 million rejected. Personal terms almost agreed. Understand City asked again for the status of the Rice deal on Friday, which is last week, and they were waiting on Gundogan's decision, where we've seen how we've gone with that. All the in the knows are out, people. Apparently, West Ham are demanding 100 million for Rice and 50 million now and 50 million next July. So you got to run the bread. On the contrary, the Havertz deal moved quickly because Chelsea accepted a deal in which Arsenal would pay 50 million plus bonuses to Chelsea over 3 years, which works out about 17 million a year, which would be offset by player sales this year. So Chelsea wanted to speak our language a bit more. West Ham are not on the broke boy stuff. We don't just want you to buy one cup of juice. We want you to buy a table and hella Hennessy bottles. Again, the in the knows have all these things to say. Apparently, Team News and Ticks has said Arsenal know what money will get it done. Then get it done. They will try to scrimp because they don't think that deck will go elsewhere. Boy, you're gonna learn the hard way, innit? So they know the exact figure that will get it done. They are just basically trying to penny pinch, which I guess if you know that you're the only buyer, it's probably the right thing to do. You're not the only buyer, though. West Ham rejected the first bid and said they wanted more up front. So the second bid is actually exactly the same amount, but it was more up front. I'm still trying to figure out the exact breakdown of that. So they're not going to accept it, are they? But it would have been more up front with less payments. The first bid was 80 million over 6 payment windows. So 13 million each time, which would have done West Ham no favors. So put up the money or whatever. Con Marble Halls again. All these in the knows have all the sensationalized stuff. I'm sure they know what they're talking about, but boy, everyone knows everything. He said, just on Declan Rice, as I've got loads messaging me, I'm still confident. Players' preference is Arsenal, obviously down to clubs to still agree, which is getting closer. Third bid will be coming in, which Arsenal will hope will be the one. Where, boy, I don't know. Boy, you said you got any updates there? None. So yeah, let's leave that there. John Cross has said, I think Arsenal and West Ham are going through a process now. I do think Declan Rice's preferred option that's set in his head is Arsenal, and he's almost made up his mind. I hope so. But as you've seen, he bust out from Ireland to play for England, so he will make the move that benefits him really and truly. Once again, DiMarzio has spoken about it, people, and said that City are joining Arsenal in pursuit of the West Ham captain, and they want to offer 75 million in 2 installments plus 15 million in add-ons, which are probably more achievable. So West Ham might just accept that, or they might continue to drag their heels. Really and truly. We've been once again linked with Onana of Everton to go with Lavia and co, people. We'll have to see. Lavia is on the list as it says here. So we'll have to see. We've been linked with him in Onana since he was at Lyon. For Romano has said on Kai Havertz, Arsenal plan confirmed for Kai Havertz. Medical later this week. Formal contract already sent and being checked. Then it'll be official. 65 million fee with add-ons. Smash the like button, people. Confirmed. Also long-term deal for Havertz, who is set to become Arsenal's first gunner signing this summer, people. And again, further confirmation from journalists that he's set to have his medical over the weekend, and it could even be done abroad as he's on holiday. Partey's been linked with clubs in Italy and Saudi Arabia, and Fabrizio Romano has said Juventus have also asked for info on Partey after Saudi clubs also approaching the midfielder. Saudi clubs are prepared to bid 40 million euros in 3 installments, but nothing agreed yet on the player side. Juventus are informed, waiting for Rabiot's future too. I mean, installments and that, it's a myth. And again, this article has basically said the same thing. Juventus are set to bid between 18 million and 20 million euros. So it don't really make sense. Once again, Havertz is getting closer to joining Arsenal, as you've seen there, people. What's over here? Is there anything new on Arsenal.com? Once again, West Ham value Rice in excess of 100 million, and Arsenal expected to return with a third bid. It remains to be seen how much Manchester City are willing to bid, but them signalling their interest will likely drive up the price, which is true. Fair enough there. At this point, we're repeating the same things. Romano on Timber has said, we are advancing on a full agreement on personal terms with Timber. The player has accepted to join Arsenal. Negotiations will follow between Ajax and Arsenal in the next hours and days, and a new bid is expected soon, people. So we'll have to see exactly what's there. Romano's also said Arsenal will bid again for Timber. They want him. They feel that the player wants to accept the proposal. He's really attracted by Arsenal as a possibility. And so work in progress for Timber to Arsenal because they will bid again. The player wants to move more than other clubs interested, including Bayern. Until you're holding shirts, I don't believe in much of this, people. So it is what it is. I think this is just the same thing. Apparently, it says Timber dreams of the Premier League, and so Arsenal are absolutely ahead in the race at this stage. Arsenal have a fresh new project, and they trust young players, versatile players like him. It looks like an ideal move for the young Dutch defender. And once again, Partey has been linked with Saudi Arabia. And this article has said it could pave the way for Lavia to join Arsenal. And apparently, he would command a lower fee than Rice and Caicedo. Again, Lavia looks set to leave following their relegation. And we all know Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, and saving the best till last, Arsenal have all been linked with Lavia at this moment in time. Some journalists say talk of a bid or wide of the mark as well, for what it's worth. On Balogun, apparently, Darmishef has said, I think he's got 2 years left on his contract. If Arsenal do want to keep him, they've not heard of any noises of a new contract so that one could move. I think his reps do have an interest in the player from the Premier League and from clubs abroad, including RB Leipzig as well. So let's keep an eye on that one, which I'm sure we will. On Timber, Sam Dean of the Telegraph has said, Arsenal have been looking for a while for a right back / centre back who can sort of invert in the way Zinchenko does. And Timber is the guy they've come on. You know, they've identified, and I've been told he has been the top target for quite a while now. Fair enough, people. Timber it is then. Timber really wants to move to Arsenal more than other clubs, including Bayern, says Romano. What's this? On Caicedo, I'm struggling to see a way in which Arsenal can finance that while also signing Havertz and potentially signing Timber. We're talking nearly 300 million now in one summer, unless for whatever reason it becomes a much cheaper option, which I don't think he will because we're dealing with Brighton here. No one gets a cheap deal at Brighton. I can't see it happen. Sorry for hitting the mic there, people. Again, we've seen this already. In fact, I don't think we have people. I think they will bid again in relation to Timber. There's a conversation between Arsenal and Ajax, and on the player side, the conversation is very positive. So it looks like a very concrete deal between Arsenal and Ajax for Timber, and also on the player side. Anything new here? On Lavia, Sam Dean's poured cold water on that. Obviously, there's a lot of really good journalists doing a lot of really, really good work, and no part of me at all is trying to sort of say they're wrong because it's not my place to do so. All I can say in Lavia is that I personally have no information to suggest he's one that Arsenal are going to sign imminently. My information is that currently not one to watch at this point. So there you have that. Apparently, Partey is ready to give the go-ahead to the Juventus move. Club will negotiate an 18 to 20 million euro deal for the player. Can't we get something out of that? Like a player or something? Locatelli, what you say? You want to join us? I don't know, people. Declan Rice is still Arsenal's to lose. Arteta very much wants him, but if they don't get serious with their offers quick, City will steal him. Been saying for years, Pep has strongly admired Rice. Maybe now you'll believe me. Oh boy, it's hard not to admire him. So we'll have to see, people. And I don't know if we're going to be linked with any different names, you know, that isn't Kai Havertz, Declan Rice, and obviously Mr. Timber here. But as you can see, in fact, Goal.com haven't even been updating this, people. That was the last one, the 20th of June. What's going on? In fact, forget all of that. But that appears to be everything, really and truly, people. Let me know your thoughts. Again, tomorrow, I'm sure there'll be some updates and all these things. But until then, we're at the club's mercy, man. So let's hope that we do something. Tonight, no. We see FM's tomorrow settings. DG under 21s, watch along, not today. Thoughts on Nevers being loaned to Newcastle from his new Saudi team. Dodgy movements. Look at our business. Sambi for 10 million, Fabio for 32. We passed on Bruno Gomares. We didn't sign Sambi Lokonga for 10 million, played a lot more for the same money last year. Missed out on top four, underwhelming. Even if we get Rice, now Edu's ruined any ounce of trust in him. Clearly the weak links in our project. I mean, if he gets Rice, you can't really say he's a weak project. And to be fair, why you have to care about the fans' opinion? He's done what he's needed to do in the club, really. It doesn't really matter what you and I would have to say about him. I think we'll get Rice still. At some point, City will get bit by the FFP shenanigans, and I think that will be a subtle but important nuance in this saga. You really think that's going to happen anytime soon, though? Plus, a midfield of Rice, Havertz, and Odegaard would be sick. Big up, Gian. As he said, smash the like button. Do you think the potential signing of Timber shows we won't be interested in Caicedo anymore, considering he can shift into the inverted right back position, or Timber we can be competing with Saliba? He can actually do a job in midfield. I would say no, because if you don't get Declan Rice, Caicedo can play as a 6. But it looks like a myth. DG, provided we grab 2 midfielders, we'll be all right, man. Blowing hundreds M's on Rice when there's other midfielders we can get will be good. This is why I'm, as much as I want Rice, make sure in September we've got options, man. I can't lie. This is Meaty from Edu. Big up yourself, man. DG, what do you see happening with Rice? Oh, I mean, I'm typically pessimistic. I said I think Caicedo's going Chelsea. I don't see us getting Declan Rice. I hope to be wrong, innit? I can only go with what's in front of me, and that we've had bids rejected. Rice is not immediately nowhere near signing for Arsenal Football Club. Right, this brother's moving brazy. Absolutely brazy. So yeah, man, we'll have to see exactly what's being done. City made 170 million from the Champions League win. Apparently, Rice covers that and then some. And creative accounting is going to be a great help, wouldn't it? No one can stop them, man. There, man. Like, appreciate everyone who's hit the like button, by the way. No one can stop them, man. Like, it is what it is. You either get these bids done early, and it's easy for me to say as a fan, but maybe if you got something wrapped up for Rice in January, which if I'm West Ham, I'm probably not going to entertain because I want to provide a bidding war for him, or maybe Caicedo in January, you say to Brighton, all right, cool. You're not going to sell, pardon me, you're not going to sell him to us now. Can we agree something so that he moves in the summer and it's done? I wouldn't do it if I was Brighton. They just gave him a new deal and they wanted a bidding war. And we'll be here next season or in January when the next Declan Rice saga or the next Caicedo or the next Lavia or so on and so forth, really. This is the market, unfortunately. This is the market. I would like Arda Güler, completely off topic. I don't think he's a player we immediately need, but he'd be lit, man. I would like, the only way I'd be happy about not getting Rice, if I wake up one day and, somehow we've got Tchouaméni, but that's a dream selling, man. Absolute dream selling. 18 to 20 for Partey is dead if that happens. At least this summer, you could imagine, surely you'll be offered that next summer with a year left on his deals. And I don't know if Arsenal have a willingness to renew his contract. So I have to see, man. And so, yeah, man, it is what it is. Let me see if there's any updates over in this world of football. Allegedly, Arsenal's offer for Rice was way too many installments. Rice is now on holiday, so nothing can really be done until July. Apparently, when you can't match this is team news and ticks. It said, when you can't match clubs' financial power, you have to operate differently. Convince the player he wants you and only you. Get a bid accepted. Arsenal feel they have done part A, although you never know until it's time for the player to make a decision. Now on to B. So not really shedded anything. More personal opinion, but you're right, man. It is what it is. Hey. Christian, leave Charlie alone, man. Both of you make peace, man. We're all Arsenal fans. Allow it, man. But honestly, who knows? Should I type in on Google Arsenal? Maybe there's one more twist. But what I would say is if Xhaka goes, Partey goes, and you've got Jorginho, El Nene, and whatever else, and Havertz in this 8-row based on what people are saying, it don't look good. It don't sound good. Not that they're bad players, but you'd be lying if you're confident about achieving things next season that we want to achieve. So we'll have to see, man. Allegedly, again, every in the knows journalist got all the opinions and knows everything. But for what it's worth, maybe this provides some hope to some Arsenal fans. Apparently, Arsenal definitely still have one more opportunity here, and they need to move fast on